Once upon a time, in a faraway village at the edge of the Whispering Woods, lived a little girl named Manon Laurent. Manon was a kind and gentle girl who loved to play with her friends and spend time with her family. She had rosy cheeks, bright blue eyes, and long flowing blonde hair that reached all the way down to her ankles. But there was one thing that Manon did not like, and that was the dark. Every night when the sun went down and the shadows grew longer, Manon would feel a shiver run down her spine, and she would cling onto a teddy bear for dear life. She would beg her parents to leave the lights on and stay with her until morning, but they would always say no. "The darkness is nothing to be afraid of, my dear," her mother would say. "It's just a lack of light. And besides, everyone sleeps in the dark. Even the animals do." But Manon knew that wasn't true because she heard them too. The scary sounds that came out of the woods every night. Howls and growls, and sometimes even screams. All these strange sounds filled her with such terror that she would bury her head under her blanket and wish for the sun to come back. One day, Manon's parents had to go into the Whispering Woods to pick some herbs for her grandmother who was sick. They told her to stay home and take care of the house, but Manon couldn't accept this task. She wanted to be with her parents, and so she put on a blue jacket and a red hat and followed them into the forest. As they walked along the path, Manon's parents told her to gather some flowers for her grandmother. But she couldn't take her eyes off the tall trees that seemed to be reaching out to grab her, and the bushes that looked like a monster's open mouth ready to swallow her whole. The deeper they went, the darker it got, and the scarier the shadows became. Then suddenly Manon's parents stopped in their tracks. They turned around and asked her, "Do you see that?" Manon looked up and saw something sitting on a log up ahead. It was big and fluffy and looked like a giant cotton candy. Curiosity got the better of her and she started walking towards it. As she got closer, she realized it wasn't cotton candy, but a huge spider. Its legs were thin and long, and its body was round and hairy. It was the scariest spider Manon had ever seen. "Don't be afraid," said her mother softly, putting a hand on her shoulder. "Oh, this spider is very gentle. It's just resting after a long day of work." But Manon didn't believe her. She thought the spider was going to pounce on her and bite her face, so she screamed and ran as fast as she could. She ran past her parents without even saying goodbye and didn't stop until she reached their house. She slammed the door behind her and bolted to her room where she locked herself in and turned on all the lights. She was safe now, right? Well, not exactly. You see, the spider had followed her and it was now sitting on the windowsill outside her room, tapping its leg against the glass. Manon screamed again and fell to the floor in a dead faint. When she woke up, she saw her parents standing by her bed with worried expressions on their faces. "Are you all right?" her father asked. "What happened?" Manon pointed to the window and whispered, "The spider! It's still there!" Her parents looked out the window and saw the spider. They knew they had to do something before Manon's fear turned into a real phobia. So her father picked her up and said, "We're going to talk to that spider." Manon started to cry, but her parents ignored her protests and went outside. Manon watched from her window as her parents approached the spider, which had now climbed down from the windowsill and was walking away. "Wait," her father called out. "We want to talk to you." The spider stopped and slowly turned around. Manon gasped. It had a human face. It was an old, wrinkled face with kind eyes and a long white beard. "Who are you?" her mother asked. "I am the keeper of the Whispering Woods," the spider replied. "And these woods have been whispering scary stories to you, haven't they?" Manon nodded her head, too afraid to speak. "That's why you're afraid of the dark," the spider continued. "You think all the scary things in the world come out at night to get you, but that's not true. The darkness is just a lack of light. There's nothing to be afraid of. In fact, it's a wonderful time to explore the hidden beauty of the world." He then waved his magic wand, and a shooting star flew across the sky, leaving behind a trail of sparkling dust. "Look," he said, "can't you see how beautiful the night is? There's no need to be afraid of it." But Manon was still shaking in her boots. "I want to go back inside," she whispered. The spider nodded understandingly. "Of course, my dear. But remember what I've told you. The darkness is nothing to be afraid of. It's just a lack of light. And if you ever feel scared, just close your eyes and imagine that the darkness is actually full of sparkling dust and stars." Back in her room, Manon sat on her bed hugging her teddy bear. She looked out her window and saw the spider sitting on the windowsill waving at her. She waved back and smiled. Maybe the spider was right. Maybe the darkness wasn't something to be afraid of. She closed her eyes and imagined all the scary things in the world disappearing and being replaced by sparkling dust and stars. And guess what? It worked. She felt a calmness wash over her, and she was no longer afraid. From that day on, Manon never feared the dark again. She would look forward to bedtime because that meant she would get to spend time with the gentle closet monster, as she had named the spider. Every night before she went to bed, she would say, "Thank you, closet monster, for showing me that the darkness is nothing to be afraid of." And the closet monster would reply, "You're welcome, Manon. Now go to sleep. It's the best time of the day." And so the years went by, and Manon grew up to be a brave and adventurous young woman who was never afraid to explore the unknown. She often went into the Whispering Woods with her friends, and they would laugh and play and explore all the hidden nooks and crannies. And whenever it started to get dark, Manon would close her eyes, imagine all the darkness filled with sparkling dust and stars, and smile. As for the spider, also known as the gentle closet monster, he continued to live in his cozy little corner of the Whispering Woods, watching over the village and making sure that no one was ever truly afraid of the dark again. And whenever you saw Manon playing in the woods, he would wave at her from his windowsill, and she would wave back, knowing that she would never forget the valuable lessons she had learned from the gentle closet monster.